morning. Thank you so very much for your attention. My name is Assemblyman Jeffrion Aubry. I am the past chair of the Board of Directors for the Council of State Government Justice Center, which administers the National Reentry Resource Center on behalf of BJA. I'm a Democrat from Queens, New York. Our current chair is a Republican from Kansas. Our leadership is very diverse, politically and geographically. For these reasons, we are very careful and strategic about the issues we want the Justice Center to focus on. Data has to demonstrate that potential exists to increase public safety and strengthen communities. Leaders in multiple systems need to indicate shared interests in addressing a problem. Republicans and Democrats must agree that the issue is not partisan and can work across party lines to design and implement solutions. Just from those three, you might think that we have no business, but obviously you can look out and see that we have found a way to bring together these three principles. It will be no surprise to this audience that improving employment outcomes for people released from prison is a top priority for the conservatives and liberals alike, who make up the CSG Justice Center board. Data are clear that the vast majority of people who are returned to prison are unemployed. 89% of people in New York State whose parole was revoked did not have a job. If you talk to young people in prison, especially the ones that science-based tools demonstrate are at highest risk of returning to prison, they will tell you that there's nothing more important for them to remain crime-free than getting a job. We cannot expect correction administrators single-handedly to build the job skills of these men and women who are incarcerated and find them jobs in communities where unemployment is already high and jobs are hard to come by for people who are college graduates and don't have a criminal record. We can only confront this challenge with the leadership of our state departments of labor, local workforce investment boards, and the business community. Yesterday, you heard the U.S. Attorney General visit with us. We were thrilled to have him. Even more exciting here is to see today the United States Secretary of Labor, because it underscores that this administration understands that the issues of reentry isn't one agency's issue. These are every agency's clients. Whether it's the Reentry Ex-Offender Grant Program or initiatives that focus specifically on females or youth, under Secretary Solis, the United States Department of Labor is demonstrating not just the importance of helping connect people with criminal records to employment, but that this population is an important part of its clientele that faces unique challenges to getting a job. We also think that she's a shining star in the Attorney General's Interagency Council on Reentry. At each meeting, she brings news of another accomplishment that underscores how committed she is to connecting people released from prison to the labor market. In doing so, she raises the bar for all cabinet agencies and shows state and local leaders not just how to talk the talk on reentry, but how to walk the walk. Before she became Secretary of Labor, Secretary Solis was a member of the United States Congress representing the 32nd Congressional District in California. She has many accomplishments, among which are the Green Job Acts, which provide funding for green jobs collar training. But most important for me today is what I think may link us that she doesn't know, is that when you read about her, you will discover that while in high school, somebody advised her that she wasn't college material. Someone advised me when I was in high school that I wasn't in college material. And to them we say, na 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 na. May I introduce you, Hilda Solis, Secretary of Labor in the United States.
morning and buenos dias, everyone. And thank you, Assemblyman Jeffrey Aubry, for that very kind introduction. That's a new one. I'll have to remember that. Okay. But I also want to thank Michael for spending the last 2 decades helping folks find redemption. And Michael and so many of you in the room today are doing what I think is the Lord's work in communities across our country and in our hard-hit neighborhoods to protect the rights of victims and also to provide that second chance to those who've taken a wrong turn. There's so many dimensions to successful reentry programs: employment, education, affordable housing, mental health counseling, and the list goes on. And it takes a lot to do. And you all wake up every morning doing it very well. And I'm struck by a statement that Mother Teresa said. She once said, "I know God will not give me anything I can't handle. I just wish that he wouldn't trust me so much." You probably had those moments and felt like that. I know I have. You have a special calling to give hope to those who are trying to make amends and turn their lives around. Your work won't make you rich or earn you front-page headlines, but you're changing lives, and you can't put a price on that. What you do matters so much to so many people. To the young mother who lost everything to drug addiction, now she's clean, she's sober, and trying to reunite with her children. Whether she makes it or whether her children make it can depend on the work that you do. It matters to the inner city youth who grew up without a father and found himself lured into a gang. And that also goes for a lot of young women. Now, these folks are out of juvenile detention and looking for a way to feel good about themselves. And that doesn't involve dealing or stealing. You have the expertise and talent to help them. Many of the people you help were incarcerated in the first place because they couldn't find sustainable employment. They didn't have a summer job. They didn't have work experience. Nobody gave them a chance. You can't help them get the skills they need so history doesn't repeat itself. I'm sorry, you can. You can help them get the skills that they need. And on behalf of this president, a fine man that I have the privilege of working with, I wanted to come here today to say to you, in so many words, just 2 simple words: thank you. Thank you, and in Spanish, muchísimas gracias for all that you do. Thank you to the Justice Center staff and all the great partners here for your leadership on some of the most complicated issues that our country is facing. I know how challenging this work can be, and I'm proud to sit on the President's Reentry Council with Attorney General Eric Holder, my friend and my amigo. My role is to give returning citizens a second chance in the job market. When someone serves time in our penal system, they shouldn't have to face a lifetime sentence of unemployment when they're released. Those who want to make amends must be given the opportunity to make an honest living. And I sometimes refer to this work as transforming tax takers into taxpayers. And in the last 20 years, prison spending has grown faster than almost any other budget item at the state level. We currently spend $74 billion on corrections at the local, state, and federal level of government. The number of people in our prisons and jails has never been higher. And each year, hundreds of thousands of Americans are released back into their communities. Yet, too many lack the support to turn their lives around. So they wind up going right back through the revolving door of our prison systems, and new victims are created. We have a moral obligation not to turn a blind eye to this problem. And as a former member of the House, I'm proud that funding under the Second Chance Act has continued to receive strong bipartisan support. In this political climate, that is a real achievement. And it's a powerful statement about the challenge before us. If people can't secure jobs when they're released from incarceration, it increases the chances that they'll return to a life of crime. 2 out of 3 adults served time had a job before they went to jail, but incarceration can reduce their earning potential by about 40%, when they get out. So how do we address the problem? I want to talk to you a little bit today about what we're doing at the Department of Labor. Over the past year, I've held numerous events focused on this issue, from roundtables to stakeholder meetings to site visits and conference calls. We've gotten important feedback from our stakeholders about how to improve our programs. And I want to thank the Justice Center for the clearinghouse you'll be rolling out later this week. I think having the best scholarship collected in one spot for our reentry practitioners is a tremendous achievement. And in July, my department will host a summit on reintegration with practitioners, community-based organizations, and local leaders. That's how important I think this issue is. We hope many of you will be able to join us at this event. We also hope you'll support our efforts to make sure that American employers have the facts on reentry. Some hiring managers believe they have no economic incentive to hire workers who've been incarcerated. But they can reduce their tax liability by up to 40% of the wages they pay to any new worker who has a prior felony conviction. And guess what it's called? It's a tax credit of up to $6,000. We hope you'll help us get the word out about this. My department also offers free federal bonding insurance to employers who hire these workers. These bonds can cover up to $25,000 for any loss due to theft for the first 6 months of employment. Our bonding program has helped place 47,000 job applicants and has had a 99% success rate. Not bad. But we hope you help us get the word out about the program. My department is also taking new steps to ensure that our federal workforce development system is helping move the ball. We fund nearly 3,000 one-stop career centers around this country, in almost every neighborhood. And they list all jobs that come our way. My department is now finalizing guidance to them about how to handle postings that contain hiring exclusions or restrictions based on arrest and conviction history. We're reviewing the workforce system, non-discrimination obligations under the law, and we're providing specific guidance to help ensure employers comply with the law. This step will allow the workforce development system to educate local employers and promote job opportunities for people who have prior convictions. Finally, I want to share some exciting developments with our REXO program. I want to salute many of our wonderful grantees who are here in the room today. We all know the statistics. About 44% of all incarcerated adults will reoffend when they get out of prison. But for participants in the REXO program, that number has been reduced to about 14%. We're proud of the program's success, and we owe much of it to the tireless work of our faith-based partners. Most Americans don't think about all the obstacles to successful reentry. Some folks are returning to society with no money and no family support. Others face real health challenges like diabetes, hypertension, or mental health problems. Many returning citizens lack access to affordable housing and care. And we know that that can make a big difference in terms of finding steady employment. I've heard so many inspiring stories about faith communities providing help and family support through their networks. They refuse to see their clients fail, no matter the obstacles in front of them. Dr. King once said, "Take the first step in faith. You don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step." And that's so true. So step by step, we know that barriers can be overcome with the right support and systems that are in place. But we have to be strategic because different populations have different barriers in front of them. So I'd like to make a little news right now by announcing our 5th round of REXO grant awards. Today, the Department of Labor is awarding $20.5 million to 18 nonprofit organizations to provide employment services to formerly incarcerated adults. These grants will provide a range of job services, including occupational training. We're helping returning citizens get industry credentials and certifications to work in industries that are hiring at this very moment. These grants are at least worth $1 million apiece, and cover a 27-month period. The objective is to provide employment services to adults who are returning to high poverty and high crime communities. And next month, we'll be announcing another round, $62 million in the REXO funding. We began the REXO program back in 2004, and with each round, it has become even more sophisticated. We're now testing different transitional job models. We're looking at providing greater support for non-custodial parents. And we're also concerned about the growing population of formerly incarcerated women and their unique circumstances. They have different risk factors, such as greater incidence of sexual abuse, assault, and domestic violence. They often face the additional challenge of reuniting with their children and providing support for their families. Next month, we'll be awarding $12 million to organizations that can provide services to these women. Just a footnote, when I was a state legislator in California, I was able to work with all kinds of organizations to help pass 12 laws that were passed into law to protect victims of domestic violence. Another target population is young people from underserved communities. I think I know a little bit about that, representing a district in East Los Angeles. Very high crime area, high poverty. But I also grew up around those communities, surrounded by those challenges, and knew that there were people that could be served well if they got the right help. And about 100,000 juveniles, as we know, are released from custody each year. Many return to struggling families and disadvantaged neighborhoods. And more than half of these young people have not completed even an 8th grade education. And 2 and 3 do not return to school upon their release. Next month, we'll be awarding a grant for $30 million to organizations serving young adults ages 18 to 24 who have been involved in the juvenile justice system. I had also the opportunity to visit probation camps when I was a member in the state senate. And believe me, that is an eye-opener to see what is going on with our young people and why somehow we have failed in terms of our intervention. We're focusing on helping these young people because I do believe it is worth our investment. We're also looking at awarding a $20 million grant to organizations to provide training to youth ages 14 to 21 who live in high poverty and high crime communities. The focus will be on credential attainment, which is vital to success. And when I mean credentials, I mean certificates. I mean apprenticeships. I mean hooking these young people up with employers, giving them the foot in the door so that they can be successful. Because we can't tolerate the fact that 7,000 students drop out of high school. That's one dropout every 26 seconds. Earning a GED can be critical to getting these young people back into the education pipeline and helping them get a good job. Through my department's effort, our Youth Build program has helped many students earn a GED. But you and I know a GED isn't what's going to make or break it. It's going to take a lot more than that. And we have to be there to continually support these young people to achieve higher dreams. Just like the assemblyman said earlier, people told us, perhaps early in our life, that we couldn't be successful, that we couldn't achieve. How many times have these young people heard that, the populations that you serve, over and over and over again, including in institutions that are supposed to be taking care of them? But I say to them, and I say to you, I'm stubborn, and I think a lot of folks have a chance and opportunity to change their lives. If given that opportunity, they will make a choice. The decision will be theirs, but you can help lead them down that path. That's what's so entirely important about everything that you all do. At-risk youth is something that is very close to me and my heart because I grew up around many young people who didn't have a shot and didn't know any better and didn't have parents and didn't have clergy and didn't have, say, a role model in their life. But so much can happen with so little investment by bringing those things together and by showing them through experience, work experience, that they too can have that empowerment, that feeling of getting that first paycheck, stepping into an office or an assembly line and feeling recognized and a sense of empowerment that I am somebody, that I can do something good for not just myself, but also for the people that live with me and around me. So I agree that we have more work to do, and I think this is one of the best rooms to do it. The folks in this room, to help change the lives of millions and millions of people, adults, women, children, and their families and our communities. That's why I'm inspired every single day to get up in the morning and do the job that I do at the Department of Labor, and very, very proud to be able to work with the Attorney General and all of our sister agencies to help combat this issue. Employment, training for those that are less privileged than ourselves. That is, I think, the greatest gift that we can give. Thank you so much. God bless you, keep you safe, and continue on, as Mother Teresa and Dr. Martin Luther King said, one step at a time. Empowerment, spirit, and courage. Thank you.